Sophie is a woman that also starts with a great starting point. Here she is, a professional, she has money, she has status, she has experience and all that, and she just wants someone on her own terms. And she's willing to outsource that whole thing instead of scrolling, having a matchmaker. But instead, she keeps getting those subpar men. She's already walking into that process of finding a relationship, settling for less. So she's being rejected within this agency by a guy that minimizes her to her age and her weight, which we then find out that she's actually pretty thin and attractive. She actually found the date really promising after a lot of worse dates than that. And then when Lucy breaks the news that he was not interested in a very subtle and nice way, she says, how dare him? He's balding, he's old, doesn't earn as much as she wanted. So obviously, he's not even up to her standards, and he has the boldness to reject her. Then Lucy talks about Sophie. She says she's not mainstream enough, but she's not niche either. So she has no market. Since her market value is pretty low, she starts to match her with whatever she has. Sophie, starting with an excellent starting point, has to settle, and then when she's rejected, she has to settle more and actually being humiliated and punished by even expecting something from just humanity from the person that's in front of her. Her checklist is out the window at that point. She just wants someone who's looking at her as a human being, but then she doesn't get even that, right? And then the end of Sophie's story is after all that, somehow she goes back to the same agency and still working with Lucy, the next person she gets matched with, settling even more for this other guy. So she's just trapped in this cycle of being stripped out of her self-worth and her humanity and minimizing her to her fertility, her looks, and her youth. She has the same plot line of self-erasure and losing herself to male attention, being chosen by men that are beneath her. In a way, this movie was disappointing because it didn't show us any hopeful ending about how we as women can break free from society that just pushes us back to submission and oppression, having to settle so that the Institute of Marriage can go on and use women for our services, preaching us again about romantic love, how we should sacrifice everything that we worked for our whole lives just to have a slight chance to get it, which is exactly where the patriarchy wants us to be, instead of self-fulfillment, communal love, friendships, female friendships, family, anything beyond the pursuit of being chosen by a man. I wanted it to be the kind of movie that puts a mirror in front of you and sharply saying that this is the world that we live in. It's just a reflection and kind of a tragedy that it doesn't matter where we start, where we came from, what we achieved. We are bended to be submissive no matter what. And instead of being critique for these systems that put us in this trap, instead of that, this whole movie wanted us to know that love is all you need.